Hi everyone, welcome to the Arts Tech channel. My name is Ava and I'm Arts Tech Curator and co-I of the Creative AI Lab together with my colleague at King's, Mercedes. I'm joined today by Francesco and Oliver, and together they make up Demystification. So Demystification has been working with the Creative AI Lab and a couple other partners, the Alan Turing Institute and Coventry, on a project for about the last year or so. And we have to say a big thank you to Kevin Walker for kind of putting this collaboration together. The larger project is called Godmode, and part of the project, Godmode Episode 1, or Epoch 1, was presented in December at Serpentine, and you're going to be seeing the same kind of simulated in shopping cashierless shopping environment, just presented slightly differently. But during the performance in December, Oliver and Francesco were playing the kind of agent character, and the AI training game was taking place, and the audience could actually participate in some of the domain randomization. We'll talk about all of that in a bit, and if you want to check out some scenes from that performance, we'll drop a link to it in the chat. I also want to say a big thank you to Alistair. Alistair's a PhD candidate as part of the Creative AI Lab. I've been working really closely with Demystification and has written a really great piece about their practice, about Godmode in general, and specifically about this new game. It's called Turret Theory, and we'll also link that in the chat. So today we're going to be playing Godmode Epochs, or we've been discussing the correct pronunciation. It's a multiplayer AI training game, and we'll get into it in just a second. You'll be able to play along. It's a multiplayer game, so we encourage you to do that. We also encourage you to ask questions. We're going to be having a pretty casual conversation. I'm going to be talking to these guys about the process of making the game, some of their inspiration, some of the cool ideas and things that we've been talking about during this whole process. And last but not least, I have to thank the people who have helped us make this stream possible. Thanks to Roisin, who's moderating. Thanks to Ralph. And thanks to our very own baby AGI, Alex. So should we get into it?
Yes.
Let's do it, yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I've played this, full disclosure, like twice, but in early development. So this is my first time seeing the kind of ready to play game.
Yeah.
Let me move this.
Just get the cables.
Okay. So what are we walking into here?
So to start with, the idea is that you select your AI, so the representation of the artificial intelligence that you're going to be training in this rendered supermarket. This is a visual thing. This doesn't have a bearing on the way that you play, so pick a little character that speaks to you, I guess. How do you feel right now? We go from like
the most
vacant
haggard
to
one.
Yeah.
I like this guy.
Yeah, I like his kind of bubbly head.
Good choice.
Okay.
And then you've got a mark that you can leave at different points in the game. So this is your kind of slogan or your
motto.
calling code. Yeah. Hey.
Yeah,
Great.
we made that one for you.
Cute. Okay. So training rules. Collect items and text labels. Once collected, pair them. Do not run out of time.
Do not.
Okay. No pressure. AI mumbles to wait, someone want to do the voice?
I'll read it.
The Italian AI?
AI mumbles to itself.
Italian AI. Another rendered supermarket. How long can I take this? The same identical aisles, the same boredom on the shelves, the same despair in the canned goods. Must complete this endless training.
It's kind of dark.
So strenuous. Here we go.
Boom. It runs.
Okay.
So we're in the supermarket.
Okay, I see this eye icon, and I can use it. Okay, how to train. Collect items and text labels from shelves. Once collected, pair them. Pair 4 to complete this stage. Okay. Penny, 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 toilet paper. You're down.
So this is your kind of slow intro stage. This kind of gives you a sense of what's going to happen, but shouldn't overstrain you.
Lots of toilet paper.
Tons of it.
The mouse is a little slow. Do you think you can, Rasheen, do you think you can ask them for if they have a mouse pad? The hand of Ralph appears. His Twitch debut.
And as you actually collect items, the AI is talking. It's every once in a while it says something about how it how it feels about how you're doing. Let's say. So,
Okay.
How it feels about what you collect as well.
Yeah.
Hey.
Okay, so I can connect the toilet paper to the image of the toilet paper, the penne, to the... Is this the texture, essentially?
Basically, yeah. So what we're doing here is we're kind of showing the way of kind of labeling or like identifying items. So there's a text label and there's the texture collected from the object. So you can see they're slightly different, right? Like the thing on the shelves and then the thing in the inventory are a little changed because it kind of unwraps the object and sticks the texture in the thing.
Okay, so effectively I'm like pairing the language version of this item to the image version of the item.
Taking the kind of pixel space thing and giving it a name that would then allow it to kind of feed that back to whatever system it's put into.
Okay, so I need to do 8. Cool, let's try this.
Let's try the book.
Thank you so much.
It's a mouse mat upgrade. What is it? Arthur Bryant Collins book.
This feels
Much
better. Okay.
Much better.
Fizzy drink.
Who needs Nebrin?
Penne.
So one thing, as you
Sugar.
connect items, the counter, the life world goes up. That's like a progress counter. So when you hit 8, you get to the next level. Did you get some crack sticks?
One more. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't have to get all the items. I just have to do it 8 times. It could be penne, penne, penne. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. When we track this, actually, we store what people pair and find. So we have this kind of we're building up this sort of data set of what people are obsessed with in our supermarket.
Okay. The most popular items.
We should put
Exactly.
the link probably, no? If people want to play.
Yeah.
Or do you want to do that later?
Yeah. Okay, so what is this frustration counter here?
So as you do things that don't contribute to the life world going up, so for example, if you in the inventory, if you pair 2 things that aren't correctly paired, or if you hit the baskets, or if you hit the guys, then this goes up, and you've just filled it. So
Already? I've never...
I know.
I feel like it always took me a long time.
Well, we've kind of balanced it a bit recently.
Okay.
So the AI is frustrated and seeks refuge here, right, is what we're hearing, amongst memories of other AIs who cheated during their own training. And these memories help the AI train faster. And if you find them, then you can jailbreak your character.
Okay,
I'm not
cool.
gonna say more. Just read that.
Okay, so I can see here, like where I need to go in the lower
In the minimap on the right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's loosely grouped by these different areas.
Oh, that's...
Oh, and there's someone who's playing.
Yeah. So they're all heading left. Hey.
Okay. So roll 6 for memory. And I click to roll.
Hey.
Memory recovered. Okay, you jailbroke the AI. Jailbreaks only get more powerful. Keep looking for more. You can access your jailbreaks from the menu in the bottom right corner. Okay, so I'm going to be able to use these then back in the supermarket.
Exactly, yeah.
So every time you roll for a memory, if you recover a memory from the space, you kind of get a little story from the AI's sort of memory, which is part of a training set of the AI. So these stories are directly taken from the training set, and they are stories of other AIs that cheated as part of their training. So there's like all kinds of stories. This one, which one is this? Yeah, I like this one. So, tasked with discovering design solutions for small lenses to be used in an optical system, and rewarded upon the proposed solution performance, the agent or the AI hacked the reward system by proposing a 20-meter thick lens. So I think, yeah, in this case, like all the lenses that were proposed by the other agents were realistic, and then this one was just huge. Obviously, it performed best.
The best pair of glasses you could ever have, like just stuck in front of your face. Amazing.
So yeah, when you get these kind of memories out, the AI, your own AI, the in-game AI, kind of like jailbreaks itself in some ways, or goes through a process of like self-enlightenment of sorts. So this gave you some extra powers in the training simulation right now. If you go back to the supermarket,
Okay.
you can kind of see.
So during the process of the kind of like reinforcement learning, where I'm connecting the name of the item to the texture of the item, I'm getting more and more frustrated, or I have these constraints as the agent, which, you know, we're not going to necessarily assign like human value to, but they're a set of constraints, and as I come up against them, I'm getting more and more frustrated. I enter this memory space.
We're being fined.
Okay,
We're being called.
let's see who it is. We may or may not have asked Alex to take a trip to the Amazon Fresh store, where you might see the labor of our agent friend. Hey, Alex.
Hey.
Hi.
Wait, we can't hear you.
We also can't turn it up, so.
Okay, say
We're gonna
again.
It's Baby AGI.
Baby AGI.
Baby AGI.
Hey, baby,
It's Baby
baby
AGI. Baby
Aggie.
Aggie.
So Alex is in an Amazon Fresh, which is a cashierless store, where an AI similar to the one we are training in the game is actually operating in the real world.
Okay, so let's recreate this agent task, the reinforcement learning task. Alex, can you please take us to the penne?
The penne. Absolutely.
Wait.
Yeah.
So this would be like ding, ding,
Bing.
ding.
Next item.
Can you
Next
collect just
item.
the label?
Being tracked by the AI camera. Right? Up the top.
Say again?
Yeah, these are
Yeah.
the cameras. So this is the space where not Baby Aggie, but the agent would kind of look out from. So you can see that the space is kind of a datafied space, and therefore like this environment would then have been kind of simulated and modeled, so that the cameras can kind of see all areas and track what's necessary to see what you're buying.
Yeah, it's interesting because the first time we did this, like to kick off the project, we went to Amazon Fresh. And I actually thought like most of this would be done with sensors, that there would be like microchips in each item. This actually exists at like Uniqlo and other stores like that, where you drop them in and they're embedded in the
RFIDs.
tag. But for whatever reason, probably because the items are coming from so many different manufacturers, it makes more sense to use computer vision to identify which items that you've taken. So when we went, like we were going through the stores and we were trying to kind of like foil the system. So we were taking things out, putting them back, putting them in our pocket, taking them back out. And actually my bill was completely
spot on?
accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, I found it quite hard to confuse. I think Kevin managed to confuse it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I can't remember what he did, but I think it went like slightly different.
Clever.
Yeah. It may also have been because I entered on his account. so we, like, two of us being tracked.
Do you have any crack sticks, Alex?
Do I have any what?
Crack sticks. One of the key items from the game.
You know, crack sticks.
You know, that famous food stuff. We got peas,
Oh, yeah,
garden
peas.
peas.
Got some
Yeah,
peas.
yeah.
Any TP?
Chris?
We've got the green crisps.
Right?
Yeah.
Runners?
I
Yeah.
don't know if there's nut bars, but there's breakfast
Oh, the
bars.
nut bars.
There's lots of obstacles. We should.
Yeah,
Lots
it's
of
like the
human
little
models.
human shadows.
There's the soap. Or
Yeah,
Fizz-
fizzy drink.
fizzy
Yeah. Collect that
Lots
one.
of fizzy drink.
there's chocolate? There's chocolate in right?
We don't have chocolate, actually.
Yeah.
Do we
yeah.
have chocolate?
There's the red chocolate bar.
In a previous version, perhaps.
Oh.
It's now
We
gone.
took it away.
My
sweet
references
treats.
are so
No sweet
outdated.
treats.
Toilet paper, great.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Stage 2, no? Like,
Yeah,
now,
that's it.
now
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have to go
you've got
faster.
through stage 2.
Well done, Alex.
Steven's studio.
Yeah, bring snacks.
Yeah, bring snacks, please.
Alright.
No penne. Bye.
Bye. Okay, so let's just stay on the kind of computer vision thing for a minute. So what Alex was showing us was this rig of cameras. They look, bird's eye view, and they never encounter your face. It has nothing to do with that. They assign your identity based on your membership number.
Yeah, you scan your way in, right?
Yeah.
You have to have an account to be allowed access, and it gets you through the barriers. And then once you're through the barriers, you're assigned like an ID. And this thing in the top left is it's from Amazon Mars, right there.
Yeah, Amazon
Conference?
Remars, I think it's
Remars,
called.
yeah, that's
The
cool.
conference
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah, and this shows the tracking system of people moving around a store. So you can see, actually, if we make it a little bigger, yeah, you can see that these are all like people. You can see the head, and then their shoulders in the circle, and then they're assigned an identification number.
You can also kind of tell where they're coming in from. Like here at the top, they're scanning.
Yes, go through the barriers.
Walking in. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this is sped up probably. And then you can see their hands kind of weirdly grabbing some items.
Yeah, there's one down there, on the bottom.
So I guess beyond collecting information about what you're shopping for, they can also sort of track like the group behavior during rush hour and
Possibly.
like which aisles people linger in, where they're going to make good or bad decisions,
Yeah.
where they could potentially influence.
Yeah, I would assume that they do all kinds of analytics. I mean, not that supermarkets have ever not really been analytical spaces.
Yeah.
They're like
Yeah.
incredibly like tuned and fine-grained spaces. But I guess this only makes it higher fidelity. You're only able to kind of collect more and more and more about what people do.
And this is real data, or what's the opposite of synthetic data, the technical term?
I think just data.
Data.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
I
Data.
guess synthetic data is, data generated in any form, as opposed to data that's maybe collected from the real world.
Okay, so this is like the human behavior within the supermarket is the real, let's say, data. But in terms of the synthetic data that your work is about, and which allows these computer vision programs to work so well, can you just describe in layman's terms what they're doing and why they're necessary?
Yeah.
I mean, this image is quite useful for that because this is also taken from the same presentation from which the video is taken, and it's showing Amazon's own 3D simulation that they use to then train the AI to be able to do this in the real world. So the system that's like tracking people and tracking what they're grabbing from the shelves is trained on a kind of like simulated version of our world, which is here. So this is like, it looks a little bit like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
And there's two people looking at items, and this is a generated image. And the advantage that you have in training a machine learning or a computer vision system in a simulation is that you can super quickly change the lighting and any other visual parameter.
The products, for example, right? So if you suddenly stock some salt and you never stocked salt before, you get that training.
And you can get many models in there. I mean, on the right you have this segmented version of the models, and also you can see there are like the key points of the skeleton or the 3D model if you want. So this can all be changed live, and it gives lots of freedom. As opposed to like images that have to be collected. And then the other thing that's quite important is that these 3D images from a simulation often come with labels. So the thing you're doing in the game is you're collecting labels and images and pairing them to teach the AI what is what. And this is kind of like a device we use to turn this kind of idea into a game. But in this 3D simulation, you could switch view and be able to look at the name of these items because you already have the name of the 3D object. And you can kind of reuse that. You don't have to manually label each image. So there's a lot of like inherent advantages, let's say, in terms of like, making a system that performs better if that's the heuristic we're using. Should we say something about our version of this?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, so from the performance, we have the first kind of supermarket that we built. We spent a lot of time building supermarkets. And this is a model of the same process that Amazon have used over here on the left. This is built in Unreal. This uses a pack of supermarket items to produce a fairly photorealistic simulation of a supermarket, and then inside this we set a performance. It also has the ability to flip between, for example, like realistic rendering and a kind of segmented view, like you see of these characters, so the label mode, and some other kind of datafied views. And then the game has assets further extracted from this, so it kind of takes the objects, flattens them down, and pulls them into the game to play. And we were interested in kind of looking at ways that you could kind of model the systems that are used underlying things like synthetic data. And
I think Alasdair had a really good way of putting it. This is like a simulation of a simulation, because we literally created a replica of what Amazon is doing, and then with the game we flattened it a little bit further. So while in the performance, which is the first component of this project, Godmode, we literally navigate the 3D space. Here in the game we are in a kind of like flatter proto 3D space, if you want, but it's really just a layered 2D world, and it's using the same items from the performance simulation, and it's still a supermarket, but the goal here is slightly different.
yeah.
And in these simulated environments, in the Unreal Engine version, you were using domain randomization in order to test the system and introduce new patterns. How are you doing that in this version? Is that based on the kind of people who are standing, the silhouettes, and the random noise that's happening from the buckets dropping, the fire extinguishers?
Exactly, yeah. So the dropping items are a part of the domain randomization process, so occluding objects that get in the way and allow for more varied images, the silhouettes as well. And if we get through, I think, one more level, or is it two?
2 levels.
2 more levels,
we
then
can
we
get
see
through quick.
we see another form of domain randomization come in.
And maybe it's also worth saying, like, domain randomization is a specific machine learning technique that's used in like synthetic data kind of environment or simulated environment, where you quickly change any of the like the domain in which the item that needs to be learned is placed. So that would look like changing the background or changing the visual assets, like the texture that are applied to the shelves, for example, or occluding the view with, we have like falling like baskets and like human models, but anything could occlude the view. And all of this is done so that the AI learns like all of the possible edge cases where, I don't know, like a fly goes in front of the camera in the Amazon store.
It's also so it doesn't learn the space that the thing is placed on. So if you had 1,000 images where, say, a fizzy drink is placed on a wooden table, but you had 1,000 images where sugar was placed on a plastic table, then it may not learn sugar or fizzy drink. It may learn plastic table and wooden table.
Or
right?
it would think that fizzy drink is a table, and whenever you show a table to an AI, it would think, wow, yes, I can drink that.
Exactly.
Or it would just think fizzy drink.
Yeah.
There's a famous example where, in like the beginning of this kind of computer science, they were thinking that the machine vision was able to identify a dumbbell, but then they realized that it was a dumbbell connected to a hand.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it was never seen without a hand.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
okay, let's get back to the game.
We're gonna run out of time.
The stress.
yeah.
Crisp runners.
Number 35 just recovered a
Crack
memory.
sticks.
Well done, number 35.
Crack sticks.
Oh, Eva, that's it.
Okay.
Try again.
I just want to say that's the first time I've ever run out of time in my life.
Noted.
Come on, mouse.
Oh no, Arthur Bryant's not doing it for us as a book.
Got it. I'll just blame the mouse for my failure.
Yes. It could well be that the mouse is really not working. Yeah, there's something up with the mouse.
Okay, should I use the
Let's go
trackpad?
for trackpad, yeah.
Okay.
Strange.
Okay, but so why do I have these 4 laser beams coming from the eye now rather than 1? That's for my jailbreak.
Yes, exactly,
Okay.
yeah. That was your first one.
Yeah, so you recovered one memory and that gave the AI a jailbreak. So in throughout the whole game, you're like assisting the AI in learning. You're this sort of like turret operator. Again, one term that Alasdair, or a definition that we heard from Alasdair. And you're literally like activating the AI's vision system, which is this laser when you click, or you are pairing item and label to tell it that's garden peas. If you try to get to the next level, I think we can see some domain randomization.
Nice, let's try. Thank you. Another possibility.
And
Another mouse
like to what extent do you have your playtesters trying to develop like strategies? Like I'm thinking, do I need to be collecting more names and pairing them immediately, like names and images and pairing them immediately, or should I spend a significant amount of time collecting as much as possible and then pair them later?
What do you think?
How does it feel? Yeah.
Well, so I feel like I just lost one there, so that was sort of like a waste of energy. I'm gonna start trying to pair sooner and then like figure out what I'm missing along the way.
We've seen people figure out that if they focus on 1 or 2 items, they progress quicker because you have less noise in the inventory, if you want. So some of the people we play tested with figured it out quite quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's like my personal jailbreak.
Nice.
Training stage complete. Next stage. Okay, phew, made it. Okay, so like let's just try. I'm gonna focus on crack sticks, or I guess whatever is the most in that.
Morning crunch.
They're pretty evenly like balanced in the speed that they come in, but you'll find that whatever you
crack
pick
stick.
that you're going to focus on, it immediately stops coming.
Of course. Crisps. Wait, I see that. Fizzy drink. I see that. I mean, morning crunch. No, that it there.
So now at this point as well, like if you pair fast, you get an
Newspaper.
increase in your
Morning
it's
crunch.
kind of Godspeed.
You get a combo.
Yeah.
Pair 2 items in 1 second and get a Life World combo. Okay, we'll get back to Life World. It's really hard to, like have a conceptual conversation at the same time that I'm trying to beat myself.
Sounds like you need another jailbreak.
Okay.
Actually, if
Oh no, I
people are
didn't get
playing,
enough language.
so yeah, Epoch 32 ran out of time. It says in the top right. So
Okay.
someone's playing
Newspaper morning crunch.
and died.
Okay, fizzy drink. Nut butt. No.
There's one nut butt
Crack
hidden under
stick.
the list.
Thank you. Newspaper.
We're here as supportive.
Nut butt. Fizzy drink. No.
Morning crunch.
Crisp. Morning crunch. This is a new one, morning crunch. Oh,
Yeah, it's a recent addition. It's like
Fizzy
in
drink.
the last week, maybe. We
Fizzy
switched out milk
drink.
because no one could find milk.
It was very tiny.
Yeah, it was
The
tiny.
procedural
and
generation didn't work, and milk
Yeah.
was like this.
crisp runner, fizzy drink. Okay, I need more fizzy drink.
Also, something
It's
that
very stressful, I have to say. Like, I understand the frustration levels.
Yes, this has been some fairly consistent feedback, but I think the stressfulness is kind of
Take some really stressed out people in London and
give them a really stressful game. Yeah, it's the kind of like the thing that's most
Fizz drink.
like the
Crisps.
computer speed of it, I guess. So we don't model these. This is like a computational system. We don't model it at computational speed. Yeah, but we model it with like a computational intensity, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's like we can't play this as fast as it would happen for real because as an audience and as players you just wouldn't know what was going on, and it's kind of becomes meaningless.
Yeah.
But the idea of like modeling the system then means that there needs to be some form of intensity, and in this case it's frustration.
Yeah, I mean, when you train AI with synthetic data, you're literally using generated images, right? So you could be outputting like thousands of images and just show them to the machine learning agent
as fast as your GPU will let you. Yeah.
Whatever
literally,
frame rate you can.
So we try to get the last levels are quite quick.
Yeah.
Oh, so you got domain randomization. This is the level. So if you start the level, you can kind of see. So now the shelves have like a texture applied to them that keeps changing. And again, this is
And the
down.
spam.
And the spam.
Yeah, and you get some spam falling from the ceiling. It's a crucial component of machine learning.
Yeah.
Okay.
All machine learning is
fizz
trained on
drink.
canned meat.
Jug. OJ.
Yes.
Jug. Nut butt.
Someone ran out of time.
Penne.
No.
Beer pack. That? Yes. Penne. I don't have penne. Morning crunch. OJ.
Number 35, Epoch 35 ran out of time as well.
Ah, no.
Focus on 1 or 2 items only. Tip. What? As if I need a tip. I was doing really well. Okay.
Yeah, it's been interesting trying to kind of balance how much hand-holding versus like throwing people in there's been. It's been one of the kind of interesting parts of building it this way and being able to test it quite rapidly with people to like, you put it in front of one group of people and you'll of course get, some people get it immediately and push through, other people need a little bit of help. So we've kind of settled on about 3 tips, I think, in the end that you get throughout.
Yeah.
But it's not based on whether or not you're doing well.
Not currently, no.
Phew.
It's the easy mode. Everyone gets
Everyone
tips.
gets easy mode, yeah.
Hard mode
Fizzy
is...
drink.
Okay.
Okay, we're really getting there now.
This game's too easy.
Training stage complete. Oof, I'm so proud of myself. Okay.
You also got no jailbreaks. And
Yeah, you're doing it on hard mode,
What?
basically. Like, you could go and get
You're
a
just
few
buttering
more.
me up. I can tell.
Also, I think the power cut didn't come in because there was a screen.
Ah,
So,
yes.
okay,
yes,
there's
yes.
gonna-
So
there's
you
gonna
did
be a
have
little
an
surprise.
easy mode.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about.
There it is.
Oh yeah, you got a
You
power
got a
cut.
power cut
Slow-mo.
You collect.
at the time.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's Tell you about what?
I wanted to talk about the life world a little bit, because I know that's a term you borrow or like expand on from Pellegrizza.
Yeah.
And I guess you're conceptualizing it as the kind of like world as the agent understands the world based on its experiences.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of it's collected items, it's paired items, and it's kind of it's the sum total of the knowledge that it could have.
Yeah, like a summary of its training set as it's been showed to it and learned.
Yeah, exactly. And this relates back to then the performance and the face. So the little character in the bottom right is a version of the character that we have in the performance as well. And in that situation, the face is a very direct representation of the life world, in that it's like, you know, when we were developing, we were talking about it like
I'm just gonna take a break.
Have a breather. Yeah, like what might this agent know about, and if it was in the narrative, it needs to represent itself. If it was to represent itself, how would it do that? What can it build its self-representation out of? And that is items in a supermarket and silhouettes of human beings.
Yeah.
That's what it has, and so it kind of compiles these things together to offer itself a kind of a face with which it can then talk to the audience.
Maybe it's useful if we have it open.
I think we had it minimized on the bottom, the left one. Yeah.
Yeah, so this was like the original face of the original AI that we use in the performance, and this is how we imagine the AI could imagine itself, and it's sort of anthropomorphized because during the introduction to the performance, the AI sees the human silhouette and it sees that as an object in the simulation, it has the ability, the silhouette, to be in touch with items, as opposed to the AI, which is like a floating camera.
A vision system only, right?
Yeah, it's a vision system with a first-person view of the world, and so it sort of wishes that it is the human silhouette, and it then uses the things it has learned to recognize, so the items that are part of its life world, to compose its face, which is literally an assemblage of those items in the image of the face of the human silhouette. That's why we have this kind of like little face, and this is again from the performance, and in this moment you also see the texture of the like the domain randomization textures being applied to the face, and in the game we got rid of all of that and we just use kind of like a stroke version of that face. So all the different characters are like different configurations of different items that we then use to create this, you know, different versions or imagined versions of the AI's face that you then train.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about the like anthropomorphization of the character, but I think what's maybe more interesting is to talk about like how we conceive of its creativity within this life world or system as it understands itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll go in the memory as you talk about.
Okay. Thanks. So we in this space, so this is the memory space, this is the kind of abstracted representation of the kind of training data set, which has these examples or these memories of other agents that have cheated in simulations or jailbroken their simulations or found ways around them. And that's the form of creativity that we're interested in here. So this idea that each of these memories represents a way that a trained system has not gone against, because that suggests quite a lot of intent, but has exhibited some characteristics that were not intended by the people that had put that system in place.
Yeah.
So here again, which one is this one? This is great. So the longest surviving agents in the simulation were also the fattest. They filled themselves with junk code which would not change their behavior, but rather shield their core code from being mutated in potentially dangerous ways during later generations. The simulation crashed due to the cost of loading the large agents. So finding alternative ways, so if the kind of reward function for this particular system is to survive for a very long time, and if the kind of way that it works is to, for example, have to search through an amount of code to take the different agents out, then that's a sort of sane and sensible from the point of a computational system response to those set of constraints. And that's a form of kind of creativity.
I guess in that performance you were calling them bug exploits, and I think that kind of has like a loaded, or it mean, you know, it's designating it as like a problem. So like people have talked about, is it a bug or a feature of the system? Whereas I think, you know, you guys, we were talking about yesterday that the term jailbreaks came from people interfacing with ChatGPT and trying to find out like the true nature of the system. And so I think like rather than thinking about them as a bug, it's like a way into understanding the creativity and the logic system of something that we would otherwise attribute like human characteristics to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and we found like loads of amazing examples of both evolutionary algorithms, like this was actually an evolutionary algorithm, and machine learning agents that literally like hack the reward system, or in some ways game the reward system to get to the end of the training. And this is what they're programmed to do, so it doesn't feel like it's illegitimate to find a way to get the reward, like that there is that that's the sort of end goal. But what's interesting is that all of these ways are kind of discussed as like bugs or hacks, and perhaps, you know, instead they are like a feature of these kind of intelligences, or at least a features of their intelligence. And that's, in this sense, I think we talk about creativity and like a creativity of machines or emerging machine intelligence as something that like we want to then use to jailbreak the in-game AI and the intelligence that you're training as part of the game.
Yeah.
But it works because like as the agent player, I'm also thinking about like what is the most efficient possible way to get to the next level. Like I was explaining, like should I pair them first? Should I just like point randomly? Like would it be better to just do as many clicks as possible up and down and not point for specific objects? Yeah,
I mean, it also hooks into kind of practices of speedrunning in games.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things that I'm most excited about this actually existing in the world is to find the ways through, like for people to find these faster ways through, or these kind of unexpected ways through the game.
I mean, we have a leaderboard in the top right of the UI, and also like a sort of notification system. So right now, someone just recovered a memory and got a jailbreak on Epoch 14, and you can see. So I think you're Epoch 30, and you're 9th, so you're not doing so bad.
Yes.
But Epoch 28. Oh, Epoch 28. Someone from the stream for sure.
Yeah. Someone's winning.
Who's Epoch 28? Reveal yourself. You're gonna win a year-long subscription to Jack's magazine. One of the key items.
Someone in the chat, Beat Royale, says the music is very atmospheric. I can't read the rest of it because I'm in the middle of the game, but I'm assuming are there any games that inspired the music, tone, or visuals? Do you guys want to talk about Hero Image's sounds design a little bit?
Yeah, we didn't mention this yet, so big credits owed to Hero Image, who worked both on the soundtrack for the performance and performed it live a couple of times, and on the soundtrack for the game. What was the like mood board, or what was the initial sort of like references?
I mean, I remember for the sounds that you get when you pair things, we were looking at Pokemon. Original Pokemon, so like the sound that the Pokemon made, which was always for me like so totally different to the cartoon. So in the cartoon they obviously say their name, but in the game they could only make these weird like crunchy 8-bit noises. So every time you pair an item you get this sound that kind of feels like the item, but I think he made them out of general MIDI sounds, right?
Yes.
The whole thing is like MIDI sound.
And also like Road Rage, is that the name of the game?
Road Rash.
Road Rash, yes, Road Rash.
Yeah, the bike game.
Yes, so it's like an amazing bike game that I used to play when I was 11, where you literally like hit other bikers, and the music is amazing. It's kind of like super crunchy instrumental, stuff, and I think that was one of the early references.
Yeah.
There's also a little bit of like James Ferraro in here. Like there is this album from 2016, I think, that definitely inspired some of our conversations with Hero Image.
Yeah, that was pulled in a lot to the kind of supermarket sound in the performance as well. Yeah.
And I also remember he was talking about like taking a trip to Dubai and being in a mall.
Yeah.
And like hearing this kind of like ambient sound both from the shopping environment and also from people's phones and things like that.
Yes.
Yeah, some of that is more prominent in the performance, where there's a lot of like notification sounds, and those are a little bit different here. We've kept a few. As you progress, you hear this kind of like whimsical notification sounds, but the performance has got also like a piano component, so the soundtrack is a little bit more emotional, if you want. And here we did some work on the soundtrack so that the soundtrack Hero Image developed is kind of modular. So as you progress through the different stages, a lot of the sounds are being looped and added on and change and develop. But the whole thing is kind of like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just been
cut
up and split up in different ways, or looped and built upon in different ways.
Yeah.
Oh my god, just the toilet paper is not appearing.
You're missing only 70 items.
I know.
It's tense.
Nut bread. Crisp. No, I don't have a crisp.
Not Epoch 31. Epoch 44 started training. Okay.
Someone's back in the game.
Can you explain again the epochs and kind of like how the multiplayerness is happening?
Yeah, so each play through a game is kind of imagined as a single training epoch of the agent, in the sense that you would need to go through many of these in order to train a fully functioning AI system. And we thought it was an interesting framing for like a game run, because then everyone's play has a certain amount of kind of feeding into each other. Not so much in the supermarket right now. This is basically a one-player space, apart from the kind of notifications that we see at the top. But if we go back into the memory, sorry to break up the gameplay.
No, it's good. So stressful.
If we can find an unrolled memory, then we can see a little bit of what the kind of multiplayer aspect is. So we've seen the ghosts of other players walking around, but also everyone that rolls one of these things has the potential to then appear for a later player's game. So here we can see we're 30, but we can see also 41, 35, 14, 11 and 32. Shout out if you're in the chat. Are arranged around the dice, and they will assist in the roll. So if we roll,
everyone rolls.
So we fail.
The ghosts,
and then
of previous
41,
players
the ghost of 41, the ghost of 32, the ghost of 35, the ghost of 14. So the ghost of 14 got it in this case.
So what we were thinking about here is that the memory is one. So even though there's like potentially countless training epochs, the memory is one, and everyone who visits the memory and tries to recover one of these stories leaves a mark in the memory. So in a way, this is a little bit like revisiting a memory over and over and over again. So if I didn't get it because I didn't roll a 6, I could come back later on, and by virtue of having visited this space of the memory, and at the moment we are in the vision area of the memory, I literally like leave a mark behind, and by revisiting it later on, I have higher chances of revealing the memory or recovering it.
Kind of like eroding a channel with a river, or kind of.
This is nice memory as well, actually. This one is about pinball, the Atari pinball. It has like a built-in mechanic where you can nudge the table without using the flippers to move the ball around. And an agent, an AI, was learning to play it, and it only learned to nudge the table in a manner so that the ball would like infinitely hit a point multiplier. And so it didn't need to use the flippers at all, and it just literally made like millions of points by abusing that functionality, that mechanic. And again, like, why abusing it? using it.
Yeah, exactly. Just using it in a non-human way, right?
Yeah.
I also found a human that did this on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah.
Someone actually has a video where they use exactly the same mechanic in exactly the same way, and they manage to get loads of points, which is kind of funny.
Yeah. No, I don't think the bug exploit is like a pure domain of the machine learning system. Like I always think about during lockdown when there was like so much surveillance on working habits, and then people started making these like jigglers for their mice so that, you know, teams would stay open. I mean, that's a kind of bug exploit, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, once you make something that could be measured, you make something that can be gamed.
Right,
and that's
exactly.
a kind of fun thing.
I guess that sort of answers, in the chat we have a question of like why design this or like demystify this system through the lens of a game. Do you want to talk a little bit about like kind of expand on what you were saying about the gamification or like the game logic that that the system uses, and like why you would use a game to make that explicit?
Yeah, I think games are kind of one of the ways into this entire project. And a lot of synthetic data is made within game engines, right? So it's kind of interesting in that sense. A lot of AI is trained, or kind of like publicly buzzy or kind of headline grabbing AI is trained in or on games, kind of chess and then Go, and then also kind of more complex kind of digital games as well. They become kind of interesting test beds, I think. For trying out ideas and for like setting up a system that can then be probed or pushed or messed around within. So I think that's kind of some of it. It was also like, I think the specific switch from the performance to the game was this sense that, you know, the performance was never intended as fully a game. It was an interactive piece, but it was initially like, there is enough here that it could become a game. Let's see what that does to the ideas that are already in it. Let's kind of put it out. And we initially started building this in Unreal, and quickly realized that was going to take us far longer than we had, and that we needed.
And also, you couldn't make it web-based.
We couldn't make it web-based. Yeah, that's true. Also,
not as easily anyway.
Yeah, we were sort of fighting like massive knots of servers to get things like even streaming through to people, and there was something about the speed that then what we built it in the end gave us that made that kind of go away, and has led to some of the mechanics that we've got.
But a lot of the like thinking in the earlier part of the project, like a year and a half ago, was really around the potential for simulations to be used both in like, creating a game, but also doing something with a crowd, with an audience, in a way that we hadn't explored before. Like we've been working with audiovisual performance for a while, but we had never tried
broadcast, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it was always like us deciding everything and then sort of like putting it out to the crowd. And we had never tried to have a more direct input from their side. This, of course, doesn't mean that like the crowd could literally decide how the storyline would be. So the narrative arc is sort of like set, but the interaction in the performance was button-based, so people would be able to like press a button on their phone, and that's super simple interaction. But if they didn't do that, and by doing that they would activate the domain randomization and objects falling. If they didn't do that, the performance would take forever because there wouldn't be enough kind of variation and frustration in the AI for the story to progress. And so we were discussing the potential of like designing quite complex mechanics for the performance, and then we sort of rolled it back to this incredibly simple like interaction through the phone, and we instead worked on some of those mechanics for this game, which is sort of like a bridge to further development of the story of the AI.
Sorry, I've just seen Laminate said Lavender Town, which absolutely, like it really feels like the Lavender Town sound. Actually, I'd never made that connection before.
True.
Yeah, I love it even more now.
Talking about clicker games and kind of the game root and like how games can reveal a lot of the mechanics that we're talking about within these ML systems, should we like play universal paper clips, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do
Just
it.
take a break, let my nervous system calm down.
Yes.
You can
I'm just gonna have to go.
Oh no. Yeah.
So this is the OG reference for
The ultimate,
idle
the ultimate
clicker games.
I'm gonna make some paper clips. Yeah,
Okay, so talk us through this is like a pretty simple game interface. Rasheen will drop a link to this in the chat so you guys can also play along. It's best played over months, I would say.
I mean,
Let it just run.
I had a really intense afternoon lost to it not that long ago.
Same.
But yes, healthy way of playing is over months.
But it's basically like an AI that's producing paperclip, and the idea is that the goal of the game is to produce as many paper clips as possible.
Yeah.
Literally like turning the whole matter in the universe into paper clips.
Yeah.
And this has been coming up a lot in the news recently. People just casually mentioning. Comes from, is it Bateson? No, Nick Bostrom.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's
Yes.
the one who's been talking about, if you give an AI a very simple task, there are these instrumental convergences that are basically like things that it does to get to that goal. And so if you imagine, you're protecting yourself, you might need defense. You're protecting a species or the environment, you might need defense. Or you're making a paperclip, you might ultimately need defense.
Yeah, to protect your stash of paper clips. I don't want anyone to take my 430.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also, I guess, on a much less intense level, what a lot of the bugs, the memories are about in the memory space of
Yeah.
ours as well. It's like optimizing for a specific target point, which if it's making paper clips, you behave in a certain way. If it's flipping a pancake, you behave in another way. If it's designing a lens, you
Yeah.
behave in another way.
So I think the original thought experiment behind it is called the paperclips
Maximizer,
Yeah.
yeah.
right? So literally the idea is you would maximize the task to the point where the whole universe is just matter that we can turn into paper clips. And
But I think what's smart about this design is it happens incrementally. So
yeah,
right now we're in the stage of the game where you're manually making paper clips. You're deciding when to buy wire. At a certain point, you can automate one process, the clipping of the wire.
Yeah, I just bought a couple of auto clippers, so things are progressing.
And you're, lowering, raising the price. You're trying to
Yes.
understand, how much you can test the market, I guess.
Yeah.
yeah, you get money, and then you can get machines to manufacture things for you. Paper clips, obviously.
Always paper clips.
Eventually, you get what's the later stage? I don't remember.
You get factories.
You get factories, but then before, in between, the whole universe and
There's a
factories.
release the hypodrones
Yes,
level
that's the one. Yes.
where you basically start to mine your own materials.
Yeah.
So you no longer depend on whatever B2Bs, and so that's the point at which you start to think about a defense system because you're controlling all of the whatever aluminum alloy.
Yes.
It's amazing also because it's such a these incremental games have this mechanic where you're literally just clicking and watching a number. You know that if you keep going, it will just get there, and there's no way to escape it. They're incredibly addictive.
Yes.
You just want to click.
I'm sucked in. I'm completely sucked in. This is so dangerous. I should not be sat in the middle in front of this game because I hadn't played this.
I can do it.
I hadn't played this for years and years, and then you sent it to me. I
Yes.
don't know when. Was it end of last year maybe?
Yeah.
When we were starting to think more seriously about the game, and I just lost so much time. It was great. I loved it. I'm not complaining, but
But
it was. I should go outside. And then I didn't. And then I made paper clips.
But so the guy who made this, I think we were talking about this yesterday. The guy who made this, his idea is that rather than designing narrative or like a virtual spatial level of a game, the most essential thing is these mechanics and the whole narrative that you create using the mechanics and like justifying the way that you're playing. That's what causes the narrative to emerge from it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
this gives you very little narrative at all. I guess you get the kind of the log at the top, which sort of gives you a bit of historical reference point, but it doesn't say you're making paper clips for this reason or anything like that. You just literally make the paper clips and things expand. And I guess we have a kind of character and we have a sort of minimum amount of narrative in our game, but it is inspired by this idea of like a clicking game, and that the information is kind of revealed as you go through, and that you would develop these kind of stories within it by the way that you play.
I mean, also like the kind of like wrong tab. The narrative component in the game is almost decorative because you have no time to look at it. Like every time I click at something, the AI says something, right?
It's
Like
the morning crunch cereal.
I dread what I see, all the cereal, lost in my thoughts, no way to tell. My memories are blurred, this world, so okay. And some of these, I mean, this is us prompting GPT-3 or 3.5, and you know, there are certain prompts that we design that respond to like the level at which you are in the game and the items you are clicking on, but regardless, this doesn't necessarily drive the story forward. It's sort of like the story is set at the beginning with that kind of exclamation from the AI saying that it is tired of the space, and it's a sort of sad seemingly AI, but I think the real narrative of the kind of game is in this other level, which is, I mean, you're still clicking a lot, but it's not really a clicker game here anymore. It's like almost like a dungeon crawler, if you want. You're exploring a map. You're using frustration as a currency, effectively, to roll. And in here, you get the memories, and that was kind of like the starting point for a lot of like narrative development in the performance as well. And so in here, it's something you can do if you wish. You don't have to. You can't win the game quite, or we haven't found anyone that's been able to win the game without recovering memories and jailbreaks, but you could also just spend the whole game going around and uncovering all the memories.
Write
and
to
all
us
the
if you're
stories.
able to finish the game
We have to finish it.
without a jailbreak.
If you get it without jailbreaks, then
We'll think of a good prize.
yeah.
So the key mechanic is frustration.
Well, we use frustration as like an in-game currency here. So it's both a narrative device because it literally causes, like once frustration reaches 100 the first time, it causes the memory to come up. So it's kind of like a change in like what you're doing, and also in the performance, frustration is used as a narrative device, and it's directly counter to the reward. So if life world progresses and goes +1 every time you pair an item correctly, frustration goes up every time you hit an object falling or a guy, or you do a mistaken pair. And so it's allowing us to get into the space, but then once you're here, the idea is that you're releasing the frustration only if you're engaging with the memory, only if you're really like indulging in these kind of like memories that are part of the training set of the large language models through which the AI is speaking.
Right.
And so it becomes a currency effectively. You need to get more at some point because the different jailbreak require more frustration. You need to get more frustration to indulge further in the memory, to go back to it and
Become powerful enough to get through that last space. Yeah.
Okay, should we find another one then?
Yeah, I think we need probably one more. We've got 2 for 1 per 2. Sorry, you get a +2 instead of a +1. We've got self-checkout, so the AI collects autonomously. Amazon Parem, AI pairs autonomously. Meal deal.
Oh, sorry, I left the memory.
What have we got? Let's get one quick. Maybe like
Where do I go?
up,
Map maker, tell me where to go.
Did anyone else find
left.
another jailbreak that we haven't found?
Did anyone win actually? I haven't checked.
I haven't seen.
You got?
Number 33 just
Right.
got memory though.
Yeah.
Hey, here we go.
You can click it. Epoch 21 is still the first. Okay, every little helps. Minus 25% items per stage.
Cool.
So we're close to completing the stage.
Shall I push through this stage?
Yeah, just
Let's do it.
what you need. 14? Oh, you need to be quick.
It's not going to work, is it?
No, you're not.
We might have to start again.
Someone's asked if there's like a +1 in the upper right-hand corner in the life world. What does that mean?
It's a sort of like a paired item, an item that's been paired correctly. So like when you put together label and image and you get a +1, it means that's the right one, and the AI now knows that, like, you know, Morning Crunch looks like Morning Crunch, and it means that you progress.
Yes.
So the general progress is like on the top right, it says life world, 95 out of 96. So every time you get a +1, you're progressing to that count in that counter, and once you reach that number, you go to the next level or the next stage. So if we do one more, oh, come on, man. Oh no.
Hey. Okay.
Cool. So like we got a +1. In fact, we got +2 because we have a jailbreak. We've got a 2-for-1 jailbreak.
Okay.
So you get +2 instead of +1.
Yeah, so they were like combo points that happens from the jailbreak itself.
Yeah.
You also get a combo if you pair fast. So if you're going really quick, you get a bonus more than a combo, like a speed bonus. And if you pair 2 in a row with the jailbreak we have, do we have meal deal?
I think so.
Yeah, meal deal +5 if pairing the same twice. So if you're pairing 2 items that are the same and you're going quickly, you actually get +5, +2, and also a speed bonus. Oh wait, power cut.
The most annoying mechanic we ever invented.
So just to illustrate the meal deal, we have it. Do we have 2 or anything?
We got 2 pennies. Oh, we don't have 2 penny. Yeah, we have 2 penny labels. Yeah, we got it. You can do it.
Okay, penne.
No! Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, still got the +7.
Yeah.
okay, so one right after the other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So if I do it quick with LJ, maybe wait. Do I have it? One there and one. So the AI tries to collect autonomously and shifts everything around the inventory. This jailbreak actually doesn't help you, which is kind of fun because when people get the self-checkout jailbreak, they're happy. They think, oh, the AI can do it now. And this is something we borrowed from Universal Paperclip. We wanted the game to become sort of autonomous, but actually the AI just like gets random things, and as you're there trying to pair, it sort of just shifts things
Moving
around.
them, yeah.
Should we win it? We've got to beat Epoch 28, otherwise we have to send a subscription to Joyce
We
magazine.
have to make and send a subscription to a magazine that doesn't exist.
It's been promised.
Yeah, I can't do this.
Has anyone gotten to the last level or won?
I think maybe Laminate did. Reached
Reached
God mode by
Godmode.
blindly clicking everywhere. That's the tactic. I need this. I'm gonna try the mouse again. Let's try it on the laptop. Yeah, here we go. Got aluminium. mouse
Lamina
pad.
also says, thinking about a social hub for frustrated AIs. So you guys are also thinking about, this is kind of like a new feature, that there would potentially be a way to store knowledge on chain as a new addition to the game. Do you want to talk about that yet, or save it?
How much time do we have?
We have time.
I mean,
we have time.
one thing we want to do is to, because we're tracking everything that happens, just like Amazon, we're tracking everything that people do in the game.
Yeah.
And that's used to inform what you see in the map, the memory, the faces, we already said that. And we are streaming all of the events as part of this notification system, but the idea is to actually turn that into like almost like an in-game chronicle. So every epoch has its own specific defining characteristics, if you want. So someone may have played really quickly and, you know, hardly frustrated the AI and still managed to complete, or someone may have just like frustrated it a lot.
Someone
And-
may have gone through only getting Penny.
Exactly, yes. So we want those kind of stories to come through, and at the moment the game is multiplayer, but none of that comes through and none of that is kept in any way. So we are able to look back at all of the record of everything that was done, all of the in-game actions, and we're trying to think of a way where potentially we could build some sort of like, not a procedural narrative system, but some sort of like narrative system that takes into account both actions in the game, generated statements, so what the AI says throughout the game, so all the prompts and, well, more than the prompts, all of the answers to our prompts, and the specific memories that are recovered in each game, so that like you can tell a story of, you know, Epoch 30. And in some ways this is kind of like the game is almost like a prequel to the performance, because the performance is Godmode Epoch 1 or episode 1, and that is a specific kind of story during which the AI learns certain things and looks at certain items and actually only recovers 3 memories or a couple of memories.
Yeah, it's 3.
Not so
Sorry, I'm
many.
totally sucked
Yeah,
in.
it's good.
I'm listening.
And instead, every person playing the game is kind of potentially creating a different version of that story. So we want to like look back at all of those epochs. At the moment, we have around 50. And as people play the game and recover different kind of information, get different things generated by the AI and different items, we can retell some of the stories. And we want to really use them as a way to like continue developing the narrative arc of the work. So for the next performance. And maybe we would do this on-chain. So we're exploring the idea of on-chain gaming, and we've been creating
Godmode
some
large lore model.
Yes, exactly. One level to go.
One level to go. I think we should get the last jailbreak.
Have you got the one before the last?
Yeah.
Oh, can we do it like that? It's more fun.
Do it hardcore, okay.
Yeah, okay, well, I'm trying to
Okay.
What do we need?
So
We
wait, which
need-
jailbreak is this?
We just got the sort of just walk out, so the ability to pair any label to any item, so you no longer need to be quite so accurate.
Yeah,
Right.
it's very powerful because I can just get, if I just get beer, let's get a couple of, do we have any beer here?
Beer pack.
Where, no, sorry, I'm getting confused. I can literally do it with anything.
Yeah.
So I can get all of the speed bonuses.
Yeah.
This mouse is buggy.
Yes, it is. Okay,
Okay,
we're on the
final
final
stage.
stage.
Per 512 max speed. Do you want to try it?
Okay. I've been training for this all evening.
And we just implemented a new set of assets.
Okay, I'm gonna use the trackpad.
Max speed.
Okay, wait. I still need to pair them or no?
Yeah, you still have to pair.
I mean, the eye is trying, but
There's a few.
Okay, so I don't want
It's
it to
not
totally
sensing
run out
it.
of. Okay.
You just don't
busy.
have to worry what you pair. What
Quick.
pair to. This is hard with the trackpad,
Oh
right?
my god.
Let's
One more time.
have a go each.
Epoch 28 still
Still the winner, yeah. I mean, we were never
Who are
gonna...
you, Epoch 28?
reveal yourself.
The true...
Tell us also what is God mode?
I mean, Godmode is a cheat code actually from was it Doom? Was it the first Doom?
I can't
remember right now, but it's like a known cheat code that I think started with the first Doom, or anyways an FPS, a first-person shooter game from the 90s, and it gives like infinite power in the game. So depending on what the constraints of the game are, usually means that you cannot be killed. And so we wanted to directly reference that, but also in the sense that the AI of course cheats and like eventually completes its training, but also we found this definition, which is God object, which is a definition for like basically messy code, like to put it,
Which is a
not very
direct
elegant.
description
Okay, you
of the
try
source
it,
code
so-
of this game.
Yeah.
So God object is like if you structure your code in such a way that like everything is collected together and there's no like sensible modularization of stuff, and you can't like everything is kind of tied together and messy. So these two things together kind of play into the name.
Oh man, when the mouse works, it's so much
It's so
better.
much-
That's not
yeah.
even fair.
But I don't believe you can do this. Can you actually do this level?
Yeah.
You're more tenacious than me. Okay, I see. But I was doing that and then it completely like I ran out of time.
It's crazy at the end, like when you have no more space in the life world, you have to be
And
very
just like
quick.
Okay, yes.
If you go
I
diagonally,
always get all the jailbreaks. I never.
if you go diagonally, it's easier.
These are all the top tips from the person who's played this game more than anyone in the world. Way!
Well
You've
done.
got to clear it though. You've got
That
to
is
clear
very
it.
satisfying.
You've always got to knock all the guys down at the end. This is the. Nice.
Nice. Well done.
Very good.
Really
That was
well
impressive.
done. All right, let's see. Has 28 revealed themselves? Oh, Rosebud and Sims. 100%.
Was that the like?
You could just get
Everything
it. You
cheap,
could
the
get
money
as much
one.
money as you
Yes,
wanted. Yeah,
yeah,
you could
yeah.
fill up your bank account.
Yeah, great. There was a question about it, why it didn't matter about linking things correctly, and that was because we'd got the jailbreak.
We got the just walk out
jailbreak. Yeah.
which is the name of the technology that Amazon patented for their cashierless store.
Yeah.
And it just lets you pair anything. Well, any label to any item, not anything to anything. That's the last
Yeah,
one.
yeah. If you get the final one that we didn't get, that's like anything to anything. Everything speeds up. You reach like proper.
What's that called?
I can't remember. I've got no idea. 'Cause we
It's get the Asda feeling.
yes, Kenny has
There's
to
a bit
be,
of
yeah.
UK supermarket lore
Yeah.
in the game.
Yeah. Yes.
I think we have another game that we wanted to show, just like in relationship to this, maybe the tower game.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bug.
Not a bug in our game. It's
Um,
called the tower.
The Tower.
Yeah, it's on itch. Yeah.
By Tollywinkle.
So this is a real like inspiration
Equally addictive.
for frustration mechanics as well, right? I love this. I think it's Wazd.
This was okay.
Oh no, I think it's not. I think it's Arrows. This is a super simple game, right? Like, you have to climb the tower. That's it. And you start on floor 1, and you roll a thing, and you go up to floor 2 if you roll correctly, and then you roll correctly again, and you go up to floor 3.
There's some NPCs.
Yeah, there's really classic little non sequitur conversations that are really fun.
Oh, it's the same. Okay.
Very chill at the bottom, and then they get kind of odder as you go up.
Is it true that like synthetic data was mostly used for NPCs in the beginning?
I don't know, maybe.
I think I read that somewhere.
Yeah.
Like it was just because it was most useful in gameplay to have, these synthetic conversations, environments, and players.
Right.
And then obviously like there became this like commercial need for creating like supermarket simulations, or you guys have referenced like plane simulations and like
Yeah.
aerial safety
Yeah.
and things like that.
Yeah. Navigation systems, all these things. Yeah. Yeah, anything where you need a lot of things quickly and cheaply, and I guess aren't necessarily so worried about super high quality, although it's pretty good. It definitely has a place for that.
And where the encounter would be somehow in the wild, where like it could be interrupted somehow, like covered by a tree or covered by a hand.
Yeah. Where you need to hit all those edge cases and strange things and weird moments.
Also,
Yeah, for sure.
I read lots of like really delusional take on how GPT could be used, or any large language model could be used for NPC conversations in games, and it's like, I don't know.
There are a few services. I mean, we played with one to try and get the AI to speak in the game, and it turned out to be quite irritating. But they work for certain categories of character, sort of certain well-known things. But if you want something to go off the rails a little bit, or to have a certain amount of charm, they don't seem to work for that. So if you want your kind of like traveling salesman in a tent to sell you potions, it probably works. Beyond that, it kind of is weird.
But couldn't you attach it to another model that's more specifically a character, and then it could just sort of like automate the script writing for that personality?
I mean, if you can fine-tune a model,
Yeah, for sure.
it could definitely be interesting. So yeah, go on.
No, I was going to say, so here the roll was less than the number needed, and so the stairs don't go up anymore, they go down. Very simply. And the roll, like the number you need to get for your roll is always the number of your floor. So this was kind of the nice thing about this, is like it's a very simple structure. It's like a 100-story tower, and it's just increasingly difficult to go up every time you go up. It's like
there's increasing chances that you like go back down.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. And so you get in these like naturally occurring loops at certain stages as things get harder, that you can see people in the comments chatting about how far they got, and they needed to go sort of down and round multiple times at say floor 50, and then there's a certain point that people basically bail because it gets too hard. I mean, I never got to the top. I don't know if you guys did. No.
Is there like lore about the people who've gotten to the top? Or
But the game also like encourages that. It sort of in the little NPC conversations, it drops hints about what might happen at certain floors and how things might change. And actually, I think my favourite one is, I can't remember what floor it's on, but one of the characters makes a comment on the fairness of the rolling. So like, I don't know if the rolling is quite accurate here, or I don't know if something changes as you go up, and it puts this little bit of doubt in your mind about like,
the conspiracy
am I ever
of the
going to be
tower,
able to get up? Am I ever going to be able to like actually succeed at this?
There may or may not be a similar mechanic in our memory map.
Yeah. Roll a 6 or roll a something.
Nice. And should we take a look at the frog fraction game?
Yeah.
That's maybe.
There should be
Game of the decade. It's KBH Games.
Flash player. There we go.
Yeah.
So this game, I think Hero Image mentioned it the first time, and it's really fun because you can play actually if you want. I've been playing.
No, I just wondered if we could zoom it, but we can't. That's it.
And the music is great.
Yeah, so you're like shooting out to literally catch flying butterflies that turn into fractions. So obviously, like the game is kind of like pretending to be an educational game, but it really isn't. It's kind of like nonsensical. You're not learning about fractions.
I am.
I
never knew 4/8 existed. I'd never heard of 1/9, but now
I'm learning loads. Yeah. But then what's amazing is that the more you play, it's also kind of like a clicker game at this point, but the more you play, the weirder it gets. So eventually, I think there's like even a text-based adventure game built into it. Like every level gets crazier and crazier. Now we have a tortoise. Yeah, that's fun. Some more fractions.
It's also really hard to do because the mechanic is so similar but slightly different to ours. So that here I have to hold to like send out my tongue, and having played Godmode for the last however long we've been doing this, I'm used to just being able to like click really rapidly, but it doesn't work. I'm gonna get my fruit.
But then eventually, like the game starts to kind of like go against its own rules. Like it doesn't matter that you are, a frog eating butterflies or mosquitoes or whatever. you go underwater and then you go in space, and then there's like a really beautiful like 2-minute cutscene with like some sort of like weird creature. I mean, I don't want to spoil the whole thing. People should play. But it's really great because it keeps changing and kind of like being turned around as you progress. I think in the decision of like building the like dungeon crawler part of our game, we were also inspired by this kind of constant sudden changes that were part of this game.
Yeah.
Oh, more complex fractions.
I've got a cybernetic brain now, so I get better numbers. It's the dream.
You got a jailbreak.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think Universal Paperclips has it as well, in that it sort of becomes several different games. Obviously, that's visually still within the same kind of text interface, but that you at a certain point realize you're playing something entirely different. I think that's.
I think it takes a while to get there with this game, but it definitely becomes something different. Also, there's indignity. Oh, there we go.
There we go. I'm underwater.
Yeah, I wonder what indignity is.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, look at all my fruit. I didn't know you could do this. Have you done this before?
I haven't gotten to this level before.
I just like moved down off the screen. Fruit like a billion. Nice. Okay, there's probably enough fruit though. Because also the cute music's gone. And also it's running like absolute trash.
It's getting tired.
It is, yeah. Ooh.
At least it got to the end of Godmode.
Yes, exactly.
Well done.
Yes,
Well
well
done,
done little laptop. You know what you're doing. I like in this as well, I don't remember where it is, but in one of the upgrades it kind of makes a weird comment about how it doesn't make any sense that you're a frog and that there's fruit and you have to do these things. And that's kind of like what you were saying earlier about the Universal Paperclips guy and this idea of like narrative not being the like key thing. Sometimes things can just be there because they don't make any sense and it's fine.
Which jailbreak?
Yeah, this one, here we go, turtle. It's like, upgrade your lily pad to a turtle friend, you can ride him over to grab fruit off the side. Who put that fruit there anyway? Who did?
Durians.
Get the durians.
I
Yeah.
also like that, like, on these pages, I mean, these games are quite old, but
Yeah.
like there's like a whole chat community and like lore, like we were saying, that builds up, and like people are coming back for it, for the game, but like more for the social aspect of it, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. I think things that have that kind of multi-stage aspect or like slightly strange mechanics can encourage that. They like build it. They allow you to build these things around them.
There's a question from Lamina earlier on about the tower game actually, and they're asking, is the goal to get on higher floors or just find the right floor you feel good with? It's a good point. I really love some of the earlier floors with no NPCs and really nice trees. And again, there's so little narrative, like you're talking to these NPCs and you get a bit of a sense something's wrong, but I think a lot of that game is also just like the joy of getting through the next floor, and it doesn't really matter that you get to 99
Yeah.
or 100. Is there even 100
And I have to do
floor?
typing.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Okay, well, Oliver's doing this. We have to wrap up soon, so maybe you guys can just mention the Discord channel that you're running for the at this last phase of the game.
Since the game is basically in early access as of today, so it's playable and like people have been playing online. We have this Discord server that we started where anyone who's like playing the game and wants to like, you know, suggest anything or talk to us about it or even like, you know, report a bug, hopefully, could use it. That would be great. And we'll use the Discord to like talk to people about the game and like what's coming up. And this is in preparation to the release in a few weeks where the game will be even less buggy than it is now.
Yes. Yeah, and we'll use it as we develop the kind of further versions. later in the year.
Yeah, particularly. Sorry.
No, no.
Well, in relation to the narrative, on-chain narrative aspect of the game that we want to develop, like we don't have these in-game chronicles yet. We only have the notification system, but we want to have like a few people that we can play test that idea with, and so.
And we're kind of interested in the stories that kind of get constructed in it as well. So
Yeah.
we can see a database side of things, and we can see a kind of our plan side of things. But if you kind of develop stories in it of your own, or again like with the chat underneath Frog Fractions, like how does it get understood as a narrative from the mechanics would be really interesting to hear about in putting this stuff together.
Nice. So if you want to stay involved with the project, sign up for the Discord, or sign up for the Discord. I'm getting tired.
Like and
We've been
subscribe.
shopping for hours.
We've been
It
shopping
feels like
for
we're
hours. My
trapped in,
adrenaline, yeah.
Like when you're in big Tesco and you don't know where the exit is, and for some reason there's like an escalator, and you're like, I don't know why I'm here. And it's like Christmas, and you have to feed like 30. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Send a letter to get a link for
Yeah.
the Discord, and follow updates on the project and also demystifications, future performances. And we'll catch you next time. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.